Hi, it's Bumble. Welcome back to my channel. So, I just finished watching Rocky 3, and there's like three more of these movies. And I was looking around Netflix, and it looks like there's like spin offs or something too, where it's like Rocky trains like Apollo Creed's son. I think it looks like there's like three of those. But I think at this point, after watching three Rocky movies, I'm kind of done. There's like things in these, and I mean, I can't say if that applies for like the sequels and stuff that are kind of feeling a little, what's the word, like samey, like Rocky not wanting to like continue fighting, and there's like a dramatic thing that happens, and then he's gotta get like a big pep talk to get him to fight, and it turns out there's like a personal reason and stuff. He doesn't want to fight, and then you have like the serious training montage, and then there's like the final fight. It's like getting a little bit too kind of almost predictable, where I'm just kind of feeling less interested. And I feel so far with these two sequels just does not have like the same vibe as like the first one. I'm not saying it needs to be identical or anything. It's just more like what I liked about the first one was like it just felt like a bunch of losers. Honestly, I know that's not like the nicest thing to say, but you know, it felt you're like rooting for the underdog and stuff. And I'm not really feeling that from the sequels or anything. And I kind of miss. I mentioned about it when I talked about the first movie. Of like there was a lot of shots of like Rocky kind of like walking around Philadelphia, and I think it was Philadelphia, because they're not there in this one. They end up going to California for part of the movie. Hold on, I'm like pacing around. I have a tendency to like pace when I'm on the phone. I'm recording all these in my phone, but I'm like walking between rooms, and it's like distracting me a bit. Yeah, I liked this one less than the other two. I have a friend I was talking to about these movies who's seen them all and has said that her favorites, I think, were like the fifth and sixth ones. Let me check that actually. Yeah, her favorites were the fifth and sixth ones, and she mentioned the most popular are usually the fourth and the second. Okay. Surprised about the fourth. I mean, maybe it's good. I keep saying that with all of these of like, oh, maybe the next one's good and then it's good. And it's like I have been liking these sequels. I feel like they all have something to contribute with the characters and like Rocky as a person. It's stuff I'm just not really as hyped anymore about them. And the third one ends in a way where I'm good with that being my like stopping point, honestly. Because the new thing with this one, Apollo, instead of having to fight Rocky, ends up becoming his trainer. Mickey ends up passing away towards like the start of the movie. And I do like that they do training throughout the movie and stuff. That's like pretty nice. Let me look at my notes. Oh yeah, and then this one as the song Eye of the Tiger. It's kind of funny actually. Like I know that song and I kind of assumed it was from these movies. I think mostly because I play a lot of Just Dance, and the Just Dance like map for that song is like boxing theme, so I kind of assumed it came from one of these. I assumed it was like from the first one or something, and I was bummed. I'm like, where is this song? It's this one. I'm also assuming, I haven't looked it up, that the song comes from this movie, because they make it like part of the plot. Like they literally mention like the meaning of the phrase "Eye of the Tiger," which is something Apollo talks about to Rocky, of like how he's lost his spark, he's lost his hunger to win, and that's kind of the reason he needs the training and such. But like, man, so many like really dramatic things happen to people in Rocky's life. Like in the last one, Adrian ends up in that coma. And then in this one, Rocky, he has to, Mr. T and Hulk Hogan are in these. Hulk Hogan's character, Thunder Lips, has like a short fight with Rocky, and then he's not in the rest of the movie. But like the main person that Rocky has to fight is Clubber Lang, I think his name is. Let me see. I wrote it down. Actually, I have a lot of notes in here. Yeah, they have to fight each other, and he's like a guy that's like kind of rude to everyone, including Apollo. So I feel like that's another reason he even though he doesn't say it, really, of like wanting to train Rocky to beat this guy. And their fight at the end is like pretty good and stuff. Let me see. But I like with this movie compared with the other two, it's like Rocky, there's like fights that aren't just like at the end of the movie. Because like during the other two movies in the training montages, I was thinking like, why isn't he having like practice fights with people? He's not really like fighting other people. And he does that in this one. He, I think trains a bit with like fighting Apollo as well. And what was I gonna say? And his training's like a bit different too, because they end up going to California, and he has to do like swimming and kind of moving to the beat and stuff. Kind of trains him in a different way. But you get to see Rocky fight. It's like a little montage, like a bunch of people defending his title at the beginning of the movie. That was pretty cool. And then I'm surprised he goes back to doing commercials. Because, like, you see with this one, Rocky does not need the money. It's kind of interesting. Like, he started out kind of poor in the first movie and stuff, and moving in with, like, Adrian and stuff. Or she moves in with him. And then the second movie, he takes up fighting again because, like, they need the money. And also for other reasons, And it's, like, Adrian getting her job at the pet store again and stuff. And they're, like, trying to make ends meet. He's doing these commercials, and he's bad at the commercials, and now he's, like, suddenly better at them. He's, like, doing a ton of commercials. He becomes, like, even more famous. But he ends up buying this, like, really huge, fancy house and everything, and everybody in his family dresses, like, really fancy now, and it's, like, such a complete shift from the other two movies. Oh, yeah, and then there's this whole little, like, montage of, like, Rocky's success and him in magazines and on TV. So Rocky on the Muppet Show is canon to these movies, I guess, because they show the intro of the Muppet Show. I didn't know Sylvester Stallone was on the original Muppet Show. I gotta go like check that out now. Because I watched the Muppet Show back when I had Disney Plus, but I like skipped around with the episodes. But I'll get to check that out in like a week. Actually, I'll have access to it again for a bit. But I do like that during this like fighting and fame montage, you get to see Rocky spend time with his family. I do like that he has at least like one scene with his son, who looks like he's probably like 4 or something. Or no, that can't be right, because I didn't realize through these movies that like it's been 4 years, I think, since the first one. You don't really see him and Adrian that much, which I was a little bit bummed. You get, like, a couple of scenes, but I think the big one is they have this argument on the beach. I really like that scene where Adrian kind of calls out Rocky, trying to get him to figure out his truth of why he doesn't want to fight, and really, like, kind of riles him up. It's the first time they seem like they're having an actual argument, and her really just trying to, like, get it out of him and stuff. I liked that. That was cool. There's a part during this fight with Thunder Lips. It's like the way that Rocky wins the fight is he actually throws the guy out of the ring. That was pretty cool. I was, like, impressed by that, actually, because, like, Hulk Hogan's a pretty big dude, I was impressed by that. The statue that Rocky ends up getting in his hometown, that was pretty cool. I'm assuming that statue, I hope it, like, stayed there and stuff. It was pretty neat. wrote down like way too many things for this one, so I gotta like kind of scroll through. But yeah, Mickey dying was kind of sad. I liked Mickey as a character. Like, he was the person that was like training Rocky, but was also kind of giving him these like much needed pep talks, and like really was a good friend. So I could understand, you know, he was already like really old at that point anyway. But that was still kind of a bummer with his like death scene and stuff. And then I thought it was kind of interesting that Apollo, he has like a couple reasons for like volunteering to train Rocky, and then he says like, hey, you owe me a favor, and you find out the favor at the end, which is just them having a fight, but like without any people there, cameras or anything, and you don't get to actually see the fight. You get to see them throw the first punches, and then that transitions into this like painting of the two of them. It's really colorful. It's really cool. For the credits, you get Eye of the Tiger a couple of times, including in the credits. I was kind of hoping it would play during the final fight, but it doesn't at all. But like, I'm also glad at the same time they don't overuse the song. What else? Polly. Still don't really like Polly. I think this is the movie I actually like Polly the least, honestly. He ends up getting really mad at Rocky at one point, just kind of like really jealous of his success, and then he ends up going to California with Rocky, but he like freaking complains the entire time, not just about the location, but also about like all of Apollo's training methods, and doesn't really believe in Rocky. Like, Rocky's a nice guy and is like nice to Polly. I think not just because, you know, that's his wife's brother and stuff, like he's family, but also, you know, they were like sort of friends and stuff, and Polly's like kind of shitty to Rocky. It's kind of always hard to watch. Let me see. And then the final fight's pretty cool. I really liked the lighting during that. It was like very easy to see. The colors felt bright. It was perfect. And then, yeah, the fight's pretty good. We're like, Rocky's kind of losing a bit at first, but like once he finally starts fighting back, he's just absolutely relentless with his punches. Knocks laying down. It was just really satisfying. Like, even though I enjoyed the other fights so far with like the other two movies and the other ones in this one, I think like as a way of Rocky ending a fight, this was kind of not my favorite fight, but just like the way it ends. It like definitely kind of puts it up there. I don't know why I'm like out of breath. I haven't really been doing anything. I'm just kind of like walking around in here. But yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on this. I know that there's more movies. Like, on one hand, I'm curious why the fourth one's popular, but like with the way this one ended, I'm like satisfied, you know. And I like these movies, but I'm getting like a little tired of them at this point. I don't know if eventually I'll watch the second half of the series. Maybe if my friend talks me into it. Because she, like, loves this series. I had no idea until I mentioned it. And it was funny because, like, watching Adrian and Rocky, because my friend that likes this series, her taste in, like, fictional romantic couples, I was like, okay, she'd like these two. And then I was texting her about the movie, and she was telling me it's mostly because of Rocky and Adrian. But for real, like, their relationship is, like, one of my favorite things about this series. Honestly, it's really sweet. Oh yeah, something I was talking in the first movie about Adrian and her losing her glasses, and I couldn't remember if she like doesn't wear them for the rest of the movie. She doesn't even like wear them for this one either. It's like she has her glasses for like a while in the first movie and then just stops wearing them. I thought that was kind of weird. I kind of liked her glasses, but alright, thanks for listening. Bye bye.